I'm also doing well. But I think Mr. Jones, we are only 30. So let's wait. Let's proceed for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then others join.
Then you'll be listening to
Yes,
music
we are
tomorrow.
waiting briefly for others to join.
So I'll
Okay,
be
okay, no
entertaining
problem.
you tomorrow. Yeah, this one is
Okay.
for the busy students.
It's being recorded, though.
Stephen, can you please mute? Abba!
As the recording started.
Yes, please.
Work in happiness now, learning and happiness. And
Recording has
entertaining
As
as
the
well.
record.
started.
Pastor Stephen,
Recording has started.
you are mature.
Stephen,
Abba!
respect yourself.
Recording has started. It's at the top there. The red.
Oh, okay. Then I think we are waiting for some calls. So far, we are only 33 and we are over 300. So let's wait for at least some to join, or will be at disadvantage. So let's wait for about some time, maybe 10 minutes for others to join. Otherwise, looking at about 300 students and having about 33.
Dog.
So, yes.
Dog.
Hello.
Some people are always fond of coming late. They should rather come and wait for the teacher. Some too might be busy. So to me, if the class will agree with me, quarter in 5 minutes time, 7:18 should start so that when we give time, they will respect time. We all have.
Sometimes you see, sometimes you have to have time and be patient with such students, especially online. Some call, some are trying to join an internet hitch and other things. So that's why
Okay, yeah,
sometimes we give students the benefit of the doubt, so that
yeah,
they
right.
try their best, because sometimes some of the things are technical, and straight away if you go, some of them will not understand the thing. So I'm begging you, I'm even was it that I want to teach now, but I have to be patient with the students a bit.
Okay,
And that's why.
well,
So you let's wait briefly and see if they join. If you get quite a number of them, I think they are joining. We are so far 35. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, please can they put it on the page that we are waiting for them? They should can they join? So the various pages that you have, please, I beg you, can they put it there that we are
Okay,
waiting for these honorable students to join so that we can commence our class. So I don't know whether whilst you are waiting, you can discuss about um yeah okay, no, let's wait. I think it's better. Let's wait for that and start the new topic that we have. Okay. Uh, so far, how many? 52. What do we do?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, hello.
I think we can proceed.
Okay.
So go on.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, dog, we can see.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Doc, we can
It's
see.
clear.
Okay. So I think today we are going to look at the Western Sudan next states. So we'll be looking at Ghana, that is Asian Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. But I don't think we'll do all today. If we're able to even do Asian Ghana and Mali, I think next I'll continue from Songhai. Shall continue from Songhai. And I think today I want the class to be take the form of discussion so that you talk a lot, we share ideas about things. I don't have to be doing the talk alone. Okay, so now the Western Sudanic states, let's now look at, let me introduce you to the Western Sudanic states. So Arabic speaking travelers gave the region its name. So these were the people, and for the sake of objectives, please take note of these issues. If I ask you which people gave that name, Bilad al Sudan or Bilad al Sudan, that the Arabic speaking travelers, those who were traveling, they gave the name, the region its name, Bilad al Sudan. And that meant, or it means, the land of blacks. The land of blacks. Take note, the land of blacks. Now, the Western Sudan encompasses the Sahel and some of its surrounding grasslands, from the Atlantic coast in the east to Lake Chad in the west, the area that we are going to look at. So it's so from the Sahel and some of its surrounding grassland from the Atlantic coast in the east and through Lake Chad in the west. Now, the Sahel in Arabic means the shore, the shore. The Sahel in Arabic means the shore. It is a transition zone. Take note. It is a transition zone between the Sahara Desert to its north and the more forested regions to its south. That is, so there's a change over transition zone between the Sahara Desert and the forested regions or the forest regions in the south. So this is north and south, and that's very important. Now, the people of the Western Sudan developed productive agriculture. Why? Do you think that they would develop a productive agriculture? What are some of the things that maybe will make it possible for them to develop productive agriculture? Let me hear. Let me have your take. I think today I want you to also talk. I'll not do all the talk, please. Yeah. So, what do you think they would have, or that will make it possible for them to develop productive agriculture, and that would facilitate trade networks, and especially let them to have an urban life and hence urban culture. Yes. If you show by hand, then you need to let me see. If you show by hand, okay. So Mr. McLean, and then we also have a name.
So I think, Doc, I
Yes,
think
go on.
it's as a result of fertile land. They have fertile land. That's why they engage in agriculture.
Very good. So fertile land will be there. So once the land would support, now there will be availability of rainfall. Rainfall pattern was excellent, and the land was fertile. It supported agricultural production, so that when they produce, they always produce surplus. They have surplus now. They could not consume all. No, so the surplus will be now traded with. Good, Mr. Sylvester. Can we have your take?
So I think advancement in technology is also a factor.
Yes, so advancement in technology. Yes, so the weapons that they will use in farming. This is very important. And farming also takes two forms. That is cultivation of crops and rearing of animals and so on and so forth. Good. I saw a name, Mr. Anim. Do you want to still contribute, Mr. Anim? Okay, then I think we can move on. We can move on. Yeah, so as I said, yes, as I said, so that made it possible. So they developed productive agriculture, and that facilitated trade networks and made it possible for them to have an urban culture. Now, the architecture of the Western Sudanese states stands out for its use of mud. So they use mud to construct its monumental buildings. We can cite at least one or two examples of such monumental buildings that they constructed. Now, there was the Great Mosque in Guinea. There was the Great Mosque in Guinea, and for the word Guinea, there are two spellings. One will be Jennne, one will also be Djennne. It depends on the source that you are using. All of them are accepted. Okay, and Askia, the Great Tomb in Gao. Kikuya was the first capital of Songhai when Simiali when Simiali moved it to Gao. Okay, so you have Askia's tomb in Gao. Now, from roughly 800 to 1600 CE, the people of this region organized and supported, sometimes under duress, the large states that dominated the Western Sudan. Now, three of the best known of these states became the empires of Ghana. So these empires, we are now proud of these classical West African civilizations. Now, there were others such as the Hausa states and Kanimbonu and so on and so forth. But of course, I think we shall dwell extensively on these three empires, one after the other. Okay. So we have the empires of Ghana, 800 to say 1070, 1070s. Then then you have the Mali Empire. You're talking about ancient Ghana or the Ghana Empire. Then Mali Empire, 1230s to say 1430s when it integrated, it collapsed or disintegrated. and of course the Songhai Empire from the 1460s to say 1591 when Ahmed II of Morocco invaded Songhai, and that was the external shock that would collapse or that brought the disintegration of the Songhai Empire. Okay, so I think we shall now focus on but before we move on, let me come to you. What probably you have heard about ancient Ghana and these empires, these three, anything that you have heard, you can share with us. And then before we dive into the details, can we see if you show by hand? I will invite you, and then you take us through what you want to share with us. Yes, who is starting? Yes, who is starting? Or I should call names. Can you hear me, please?
Dog, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so who is starting today? I want you to talk. I want everybody to be talking. So, what have you heard about these empires, Asian Ghana, and especially we are in Ghana? So, I expect that. Can we go to Mr. Razak? I've seen your hand up. Yeah, Mr. Abdul Banz Razak. Razak, your hand is up, and I'm giving you the opportunity to talk. Kindly go ahead and talk. Or you raise your hand by accident. We can't hear you, please. Mr. Razak, please, we cannot hear you. Hello. Yes, anybody, if you are ready. So, is there any hand
Yes.
up?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Razak, we can now hear your voice
Yeah,
loud and
I've
clear.
heard
Can
about the old Ghana Empire. About the in pieces, not a full story. About I heard about the growth of the old Ghana Empire, and then the collapse, and then about the Mali Empire and the Songhai Empire. About I've heard about Mansa Musa. About I heard about Sundiata. I've heard about Timbuktu, the capital, and then a lot pieces, not in whole. That is how I heard about it.
Okay, so what did you hear about old Asian Ghana, old Ghana Empire? Well, said you heard about it and you heard about Mali. Want you to throw light on briefly on what you have heard from all these that you mentioned.
Okay, I heard that the old Ghana Empire grew, grew and became a bigger empire, and then collapsed. I don't know much what brought about it collapsing, but I heard about the growth, and then finally it collapsed.
Okay, okay. Is that all that you have heard?
Yes,
Did you
please.
did you hear about some of the factors that led to the rise of the Asian Ghana Empire and some of the kings of Asian Ghana? You have not heard any king of Asian Ghana. If you have, then share with us, please, before we look at it.
Okay. Not that I can recall now.
Okay, okay. Think about it. Can we have another
Okay.
person? I saw a hand up. I saw a hand up. Can we have that person contributing? Okay, okay. Okay, Mr. Nim, Elisa, and Fosu, Enoch.
Okay, sir. Please, I've heard that it was located around modern day Mali, that area, and I heard that
Okay.
its capital was Kumbi Saleh or something like that. Please pardon me, it's raining here, so maybe there will be noise at the background.
Oh, go ahead. It's raining
And
there.
then
Yeah,
I
Kumbi
heard
Select.
that they had excess gold, so they were very rich. The land was very rich in gold. That's some of the things I've heard. That they
Okay,
used to
okay,
trade
good.
in gold and exchange for other things that they did not have.
Okay, that's great. Can we hear from Charles Della?
Okay, my sister almost said, oh, but I will also add some to it. That is, the Ghana Empire was established somewhere in the 6th century to the 13th century, and the capital then was Kumbisali. It is in the present day of Mali and then Mauritania. Now, what made Ghana rich then was the gold that they have. Ghana was very rich among its peers, and then because of the gold, they have the power, and also the transatlantic slave trade or the Saharan trade that made them very rich. In fact, this is the piece of information I have about them. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, any other person? Azuma. Zibozi. Mr. Zibozi, do I know you somewhere? Okay, maybe we'll talk later, Mr. Zibozi. Can they make your submission, Mr. Azuma?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, Mr. Azuma, can they go ahead? Mr. Azuma, you have been given the floor to talk. Please go ahead.
No, sir.
Mr. Zibozi, yes, go on. Who is talking? Go on and talk, please. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Prince, sir. All right. I've heard that the old Ghana Empire comprises of present-day Mauritania between Lake Chad and then Mali. And I learned that their capital was Kumbi Saleh. And it was as a result of some wars that led the Ghanaians flew from that place and came to present day Gold Coast and now what Ghana. That's what I've heard about the old Ghana Empire.
Okay, so then can you trace some similarities between those in their kind of modern Ghana and the people of ancient Ghana? Some similarity in terms of culture? Oh, okay, let's assume.
Well, sir, in terms of culture, we are all having the same thing in common, especially those who are living present day around Mauritania and then Lake Chad. We are.
No, I'm talking about present day Akan and the ancient Ghana people. Old, that's the
well, that one there, say I don't have any idea about that.
Okay, thank you very much. But I saw Mr. Zibozi's hand up. Can he also share his ideas? Okay, if Mr. Zibozi is not ready, let's go on to Fosu Enoch.
Hello, sir.
Fosu Enoch, talk. Yes, please.
I also want to talk about the economic activities.
Okay.
And I also learned that they were dealing in gold and salt. So
yeah, go on.
Leaders.
Okay, then let's move on.
Then I also heard that the empire. Okay, the empire was declined in the 11th century due to several factors, which include internal and external. That's a little I also know about it.
Okay, good. Sylvester, Donald.
Yes, sir. So I know a little about their similarity, the present day accounts and then the Asian this in Ghana. They practice material inheritance, both of them. And I also heard about Marie Jata, Sundiata, and then Mansa Musa concerning the Asian Ghana.
Is it Mali? Are you talking about Mali or talking about Ghana?
That was the Malian Empire.
Okay, the Malian Empire. Okay.
Charles, do you want to say something?
Yes, please. I want to touch on the similarities. In fact, the ancient Ghana and the current Ghana have a tradition as a similarity. In fact, in the empire, that's Ghana, they value culture and tradition very much, and it is still existing nowadays. The way our people take culture, like the way we dress, like the kente, and then also the way we dance, our behavior is still the same. When we talk about the other thing that we have to do with religion, you know,
okay.
Once we are in Africa, we prioritize a traditional way of religion.
Dela, we can't hear you. Hello, Dela.
Rather other than the Western one. And then, you know, such religions are still going on now.
Okay. Okay. I think well noted. We are grateful. Any other contribution?
Sir, please.
Any?
Sir, please, what I can say, they are both rich in gold, like in gold trading.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to gold, yeah.
Okay. Okay. But when it comes to, for example, the way, okay, so I think someone start on that. The way the kings, the king of Asian Ghana dressed, you know, during public gathering, during public and Akosia Rekwa, can we hear you? Ampem.
Hey, sir, sorry. Doctor, sorry, please. It's unfortunate.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay, so Lizzie, do you want to say something? Naki.
Oh, the way the woman responded.
Okay, that sounds funny to you. No, anyway. Okay, so let's I think go on.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, okay, let's have your take before we move on, please.
I wanted to say both of them have a centralized system of government. The old Ghana Empire, they had a king who ruled them with the help of ministers and then advisors. And then the same with the modern Ghana. They have presidents, we have ministers, and then other government officials who help the government, the president to rule the nation.
But they had a monarchical system, and now, if you are comparing to the president, then it is a republic. We are now in a republic. If you are talking about the Akan and you are not into the kings of the Akan, for example, you can say the Asante Hene. You can say the people of Cape Coast or the Fante, the people of Cape Coast, the Ogwa Hene. Okay, so we have the paramount chief of Cape Coast. We can say that maybe Osabama is it yeah, here is Osabama Kosiata, and we have the Oche, the this is the Ochehene or the Ochehene, yeah, and Amankwa, yeah. So we have them. So the each of the Akan state, if you look at the states, each of them. So we have the Asante, the subgroups of the Akan. No, Akan is just having many subgroups. We have the Asante, the Fante, the Achem, the Kwawu, the Inzima, the Awin, the Inchira. And we can talk about many of them, which I don't have time to go about. Each of them, they have each of these subgroups have, each of them has its own and so on and so forth. Okay, now let's go. I think look at. So as I said, now, but before we narrow our discussion down to each of them, let's look at general factors for the rise of these states. There are some factors that are common that we can that are common to all of them, which we have to look at. We look at them now. So one is developed around a core group of people. So all these states that I mentioned, that is so even if you say Asian Ghana, Mali, Songhai, Kanimbonu, Hausa states, and so on and so forth. So that all of them developed around a core group of people. In other words, they were founded by a core group of people. the founders, those who founded these states. Now, ancient Ghana evolved around the Soninke. The Soninke were the core group of people who founded ancient Ghana, and many also evolved around the Mandinko, the Malinke, or the Mandi. So Mandingo, Malinke, or Mandi. So in example, I don't bring Mandinko and Mandi, and I bring Malinke. Don't say that the answer is not in or it's not dead. Okay. Then Songhai, around the Songhai. So you see that the earlier settlers, the so-called, the go and the do. You see that later, so around, so they will evolve, and so later we have the Songhai who founded Songhai, and in Kanimbono, even though we don't look at Kanimbono, also founded by the Kanuri. These were the core group of people who founded these enviable Western Sudanese states that grew into empires. Now, let's look at, so apart from the core group of people who founded these states, their system of government too was also a common factor for the rise of these states. Now, the rulers of Western Sudan were regarded as secret kings. Secret kings. Now, so if you're looking at the similarity of the Akan and the and the kings of ancient Ghana, can we use that? Can we say that the kings of Akan the kings of the Akan subgroups, like the Asante or the Asante, the king of Asante, the king of the Fante, and the king of Achem, are they sacred kings? In other words, are they divine kings? Can I have your take, please? Let's talk about it. Are they divine kings? If they are so, let us know. If they are not, let us also know. Who is going to start? Yes.
So they are not divine kings.
They are not divine kings. Why? Why are they not divine kings? Yes, are they not? Don't they serve as a link between the spirit world and the physical world, or they are people and then the that of the spirit world?
Okay, they do.
They do.
They do.
Now come again.
Yes, please.
They do. How? Explain. Naki,
let us have you. Oh,
what did
like
they do?
They intervene between the people and the God. Like they are the intermediate that speak between the gods and then the people.
Yeah, the intermediaries. Okay.
So when the people want to speak, yeah.
Like, are you done? Let's go to Sarah. Sarah.
Okay, thank you. So, I think they are sacred kings because they serve between the people and then the gods. During festivals like the Adai and other home festivals, you see them leading the people, doing pouring libation and doing other kind of sacrifices. And so I see them to be sacred. And then they are somehow judges. People bring issues about land and other things, and they settle it between them amicably. And in Ghana here, we respect them so much. It's as if they are untouchable, especially the Asante Hene. And so for me, I think they are sacred kings. Thank you.
Okay. There were two Sarahs. One is Sarah Anku and one is Sarah Danso. Danso, can we also hear you before we move on to Inoposu?
Okay. So they are divine kings because their power is being sanctioned by the gods when they go against the rules and regulations of the gods. So I believe they are divine kings. And also, they act as political leaders. When it comes to the local level, they are there to act as a political leader, make sure they put things in order in the locality or the community that they find themselves. So I believe they are divine kings.
Okay, good. Can we move
Thank
on
you.
to Posu Enoch? Enoch.
Yes, sir.
I saw your hand up
Sir,
before we go to Charles.
yeah, I also say they are divine kings because when you take spiritual authority, let's take the Asantehene for instance, he holds a significant spiritual position and he is believed to be the mediator between the ancestors and the living. And then when you take culture, the Asantehene also play a vital role as in various culture ceremonies and rituals. And then, their presence are essential during important events such as festivals and funerals. Then I also talk about political leadership. The Asantehene also has a powerful when it comes to politics. He is regarded as a symbol of unity for the Asante people and is expected to uphold justice and then maintain peace within the kingdom. And then when there is a successor to be enskin or installed, we recently saw how he distilled some chiefs, took their positions from them, among others. And then the connection with the golden statue also showed that yes, they are divine kings, sir.
Okay, let's move on to Charles before we go to Priscilla.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
mine has to do with this. I want a clarification on this. Please, what makes a king sacred? Is it the output of work or the destiny, or being a king as a destiny, as the destiny determined? I'll come again. I
Now,
would like to say,
yeah, so of course, when we are looking at the fact that they are divine kings, I'll say, so if you look at the ancient civilizations, because of this serving as the link between the spirit world and the physical world, in other words, between the gods and the ancestors and then their subjects. So they are considered as sacred. You understand? And that it is in that sense. So you see that they are the that's why every king will realize that they perform two main functions. And yeah, so if we now that we even though even in Ghana, when you look at the fact that we are even in the republic, the kings they also perform administrative functions. Yes, so they perform administrative functions, but their major function will be religious, acting as serving as the link between the spirit world made up of the gods, the ancestors, the divinities, or the lesser gods, and so on and so forth. And their subjects, the people that they rule. So that makes them,
thank
that
you,
is where the divine issue or the sacred issue is coming from. I think that is that sense. Anyway,
thank you, Doc. Very grateful.
can we hear Apia Jones?
No, thank you very much. Um, I will just want to bring some few examples from Asante Mampo. You know,
Okay,
that's real Sebon. So we just lost our king in Mampo here, and then it was a historical moment that we all went to witness. But I learned something that, in fact, the kings, apart from their divine whatever, their powers are deeply rooted in the minds of the people that they rule over. In fact, we were there, and then there was information that at this hours of the day, of the night, everybody must sleep. That was a time that they, took the mortar, the body of the Asibra to the special cemetery, as they call it, Botasi also. And then all the lights were off within a certain period. The next day, they said that everybody in Mampo must close his or her store. If you open the store within these hours and somebody or the abraf or whoever come in and then your store is ransacked, you can't do anything. At a certain point in time, they say, oh, 2-4 is coming, we must. So I learned that, especially in Akans, in Asantis, the chiefs are very respected. And then what they say within their jurisdiction is final. And then if you dare to challenge, No, they normally say Asasura. Asasura can't say what to say. So in all this, the chief in a way happens to be special in a way with the jurisdiction that they rule. But my problem is that I've heard that it's clearly defined that the chief don't have they don't have to be doing politics. Uh, but I also think that in a diverse way that because people respect them very much, I think that if we give them some small political powers within their area or jurisdiction, Ghana as a nation can move on. Because people respect the kings more even than the COVID-19 here and there. The president gave directive: don't wear nose mask, don't go. People were going here and there, but let Otunfo speak or a chief in his own jurisdiction speak. People will adhere to the instructions. So, Doc, I think that in a diverse way, as we are going forward in learning all these things, get to a time that we all have to push so that the chiefs, in a way, will get some small powers in the political realm to support their traditional destiny. And then Ghana will move forward. That is my contribution.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know whether there's a hand. Okay, Suleiman. Suleiman, can we hear you?
Yes, sir. Please, mine is a question. They are saying,
Okay.
I heard them say like Otunfo, maybe for instance, is the link between the gods and the people. But from what I've observed too, it seems like pouring libation and then consulting the gods are mostly done by or is it the Omankon or something like that? Like the chief priest. So in this
But the chief priest yeah, so does that on behalf of the main hello.
Hello, sir,
Can
I'm
you
here.
hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, but you
please.
know that function is given to him by the main chief. In this case, if Asantehen ask the maybe the one in charge, somebody to be there on behalf of him. So that is it. So the priests and priestesses, they are there. They do this on behalf of the king. So
Okay.
that one is
Very much.
the case. Anaya, let us hear you.
Sir, with regards to the case being seen as sacred, I just wanted to add something small. These things
Okay.
are, I don't know for other cultures, but it's more evident with the tree speaking clans, like the Sanses, the Equiapians, the Kwawu people. So I've forgotten one of the name of the kings of Asante, where when during the colonial period he had issues with the colonial masters and they sent people to come and arrest him. His people refused to allow him to walk all the way from Kumasi to Cape Coast. So they carried him in a palanquin and then allowed about 300 to almost 400 people to follow him to Cape Coast. Even though
the first. No, not the first.
yes. That was how
18
much
and
they
1896.
exactly. Thank you so much for the help. That's how much they regard their kings. They see them to be sacred. They've been chosen by the gods. They are representatives of the gods. That's why whatever they say that their people should do, they obey it, such that even when he is being arrested, they still wanted to make sure that he's arrested in that glory. So they carried him in the palanquin all the way to that place. So the similarities is still there in most of the Akan clans. That's all I wanted to
Okay.
add to.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Enoch, do I also see a hand again? Do you have something to add?
Yes.
Yeah, Enoch, go on.
No.
Enoch. You know,
because
your line is
my
breaking.
colors are.
Repositioning yourself well and talk.
Yeah, my sister was saying that.
Now,
my sister was saying that this can be seen among most of the Akan communities, and then I'm also saying that maybe she has not been to some of the communities apart from the Akan community. That is why she's saying that, because in my community here, they speak.
Where is the community? You don't know. So tell us.
A language called grind. It's like that of Nzima,
Which community?
Latte, and then
which
Goya.
community?
Recently also lost.
Oh, Fosu, we can't hear you. Your line is breaking.
It's Kwame Danso.
Okay.
Kwame Danso, the Sunny West District.
Okay, well noted. Have you made your submission? Are you done?
Yes,
okay,
boss.
Bori is Boli Berukisu.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, in the Ga communities too, they also see their kings and then their chiefs as sacred. Because of recently they had this one, a tradition of asking all the people in the community not to play drums or anything because of the Omoho festival. So when it comes to somewhere around June, June thereabout, they ask everybody not to play drums, and it depends on each Ga community. They ask not to play drum or make any noise that will disturb the community until they are done with that tradition. Then the Omoho festivals continues. So that is about the Ga community too.
Okay, thank you very much.
If someone is disturbing at the background, opening the door and stuff, and then the person doesn't know the mic is on, disturbing
Okay, so please can they off the mic? That is mute. Mute. Okay, if you want to talk, then you mute. Okay, thank you very much. So now I think we have provided very good examples and they have contributed significantly. Let's now continue and look at let's continue and look at the system of government. So we say that so the Western Sudan rulers, or the rulers of Western Sudan, were considered or regarded as sacred kings. Now these kings had effective bureaucracies with appointed ministers and provincial governors who were committed in their work. Now, one major reason why we say that these kings were regarded as sacred, one major reason was that that there's a popular view that kings were appointed by the gods. Now they have that conviction. So once they are installed, that means that the appointment of, if you look at the other civilizations that existed, the first and coastal states. So even if you look at these states, then if you look at the Yoruba people, if you Benin, and you look at even the Niger Delta states, and you look at all these. So if you take the Alaafin, for example, you would then, and the others, you see that they believe that this is the choice of the gods, and so one, they represent the gods, and that they serve as the link between the living and then the spirit world. Then they are sacred. So that is one aspect of it, and that is the point of view. And this point of view, as somebody said, would be from the African traditional religion. From point of view of African Christians, will not buy into this conversation. Christians will not say, they will not. You know that Christians, of course, see even the gods as the smaller gods as an opposing forces of the supreme being, that's of God Almighty or Jesus Christ, and that is. But the African traditional believers also see the gods as children of the supreme being. So that is an Islam. And Muslims also see the gods as an opposing, as something, yeah, as an opponent. In other words, as they oppose the supreme being. So direct opposite. Let me put that way, direct opposite. But then it's from the perspectives of the African traditional religion that they regard the smaller gods or the lesser deities as the children of the supreme being. Okay, so be that as it may, the kings had effective bureaucracies with appointed ministers and provincial governors who were committed in their work. So yeah, in their system of government, in Songhai, you can cite Songhai as an example. The king had ministers who assisted in the day-to-day running of administration. Yeah, and so they included the High Court, that the Chief of Navy, the Balama, Commander-in-Chief in charge of military affairs, then the Ferimundio, Chief Tax Collector, then the Korifama, Minister in charge of foreigners or aliens. So these were some of the ministerial positions, some of the positions that were created to assist the administration. So we are saying that all these states, that is Asian Ghana, Mali, Songhai, they one of the factors for their rise into preeminent position, one of them was their system of government. Their system of government. Now, another factor that we need to bring to your attention is able leadership. Now, these states had astute leaders, and I always tell my students that I teach them that leadership is very crucial. We need one person who's a transformational leader to change the status quo. To change the status quo. And I strongly believe that one of the challenges that one major challenge that confronts, one major challenge, major one that confronts African countries is leadership. It's the issue of leadership. So if you look at the ancient societies in the earlier civilization, the earliest civilization. Let's look at Egypt, for example. If you look at the pharaohs, for example, Philomenes and Philokufu and all the pharaohs, you see what they did. They elevated kingdom. For example, Menes, for example, brought Upper and Lower Egypt together to make one united Egypt. And that ushered Egypt into a kind of dynasty. You see, others who came were good, and they continue on. If you look at Azum, for example, they also had good leaders, one after the other. If you look at King Ezana, he was so superb, he was excellent. But if you look at let's come down to our own country, Ghana here, and look at the Asante at a point in time in their history. Let's look at the first rulers after Obriabua. So Asante to the first was a very good leader. He was a very good leader. He was the one who defeated Dentra, and they then created the Asante Empire. Look at Opokuwal, who came after Asante to the first. He was the one who expanded the Asante Empire to as far as the Gomba and Gonja in the north, and even to the Ga Kingdom, and even to the Ewe principalities. And as far as let me just end here. And one would say that had not been because of the British factor in Ghana's history. Maybe Ghana would have been a monarchical state and not a republic, as we have elected representatives or presidents and ministers and then parliamentarians. Ghana would have been a monarchical state with the Asante being the monarch, being the ruler, and we have maybe ministers that will assist him in the administration of the country. Because by 1800, Asante had almost defeated all the states, with the exception of the Fanti, which in 1807 they defeated the Fanti, and Fanti also became a vassal state of Ghana. I'm sorry, a vassal state of of Asante. And so by this time, Asante were the superpowers. And now the war will change from Asante, Fanti to Anglo Asante, that is the British and the Asante. So if you look at the war that were fought, the 1824 in Samanko battle, then 1826 Akatamanso Dodowa War, then the 1863 battle that was also fought, then continue even 1869, even the most important one, the 1874 Sagranti War. When the British said that no, this one enough is enough, we had to really prepare, then bring superior weapons from Britain or England and then just destroy Asante once and for all. Let's even take the war to Kumasi itself and burn the city, set the whole city into a blaze, of which they did. And so in the 1874 Sagranti War, they took the war to Kumasi itself and they set the whole city into a blaze, burnt it. So that will give an idea about some of these issues and will tell you. And even still, there's some war of 1900, 1901 was also fought. So that will tell you that the Asante were so powerful. Had not been because of the British factor in Ghana, then one would say that Ghana wouldn't have even come under colonial rule. Yes, Ghana wouldn't have come under, had not been because of the British. And if Asante had also had the superior weapon like the kudels and the concrete that the British were using, where they could stand at one place and shoot, then there was no way that the British could have could have defeated Asante. Yeah, but they were not having only the muzzle guns, and the British did not sell the superior weapons to them, so they didn't have, and that was also one of the reasons. But of course, I'm just saying that we have to be able leaders. Students I teach, I always shape their mindsets, and teaching is a form of indoctrination. Yes, and so you have to be good leader. Even if you are teaching whatever you are, if you're teaching the basic school or at the senior high school or everywhere, those under you see that you are a leader of the student that you are teaching them. Let them be a good leader to them. Shape their lives. Be a good leader. Don't say that I don't care. Or don't see yourself as a superhuman and you are there to be served. No. So good leadership is actual leadership, able leader. If you look at Mesopotamia and other Asian civilizations, you see they have good leaders, and that's the secret of their of their rise to preeminent positions, and that's very important. So the Western Sudanese states were lucky; they were endowed with able and astute leaders. Such leaders were courageous, and they set out to extend their territorial frontiers, and that is very important, or territories. These leaders included, so even the title, the Kayamaganda became the title of the king. Okay, so I'm linking it Kayamagan of Asian Ghana, so the kings. Then we had Mansa Musa of Mali, was good, and even Sundiata of Mali was also excellent. He was the one who laid the foundation. Then Asker Mohammed, the great of Songa, even before Asker Mohammed, Sunni Ali was excellent. Sunni Ali, who also created the empire, and before Asker Mohammed took over in Songhai, and even in Kanimbono, we had Idris Aluma. So these were excellent rulers. Okay, they were courageous. They set out to extend the territorial confines of their jurisdiction, and they did it excellently. Now, these rulers were excellent administrators as well. As we saw, even in Songhai, Asker Mohammed created ministerial positions. Not that alone. Before this, even in ancient Ghana, they were there. And in Mali, they were there. Sundiata, yes, the provinces, the governors who were in charge, and those appointed. Mansa Musa also did likewise. And so that would tell you they were effective leaders. So we need good leaders to change the status quo. We don't need leaders who are selfish and who would involve themselves in corruption, given the least opportunity. No. So these leaders embarked on wars of expansion to extend the frontiers of their empires. You can mention Mansa Musa, who extended the frontiers of Mali to Teku and the Gambia in the west, Gao and Tadmeka in the east, the Sahel and Warata in the north, and finally Upper Niger in the south. So that's to cite an example of the case. Apart from that, one other general factor for the rise of these Sudanic civilizations or king states, Western Sudanese states into large empires. One of them was availability of minerals. So Western Sudan was also blessed with large deposits of minerals, and such minerals included gold, iron, copper, and salt. You see, so the land, they were blessed, they were lucky, they had all. And if you look at Ghana, modern Ghana, we are also blessed. But what are we seeing? What do we see? So the blessing is becoming a curse. We are lucky that we are our land. You see, we are endowed with all these rich resources, these minerals, gold and so forth, copper, iron. So I think Ghana we have salt, we have gold, we have iron, we have bauxite, we have manganese. What have we can mention and mention and mention. But now see, even the gold that we have, if we don't take care, the next 10 or 20 years to come, we don't know what will happen. The illegal galamsey would even it will fast track. So I'm just thinking that a time will come if we get even 40 years, that is God's blessings and intervention. Because now the chemical that they used in mining and in river bodies, you will say that you will not go and drink you will not drink from that river source, but the mineral water that you buy and the pure and the sachet that you buy, do you know where? You know the source. You may think that you are enjoying what do you call bottled water. Before you become aware, you see you have the what do you call it? Your liver. You see that your liver will damage, and before you go to do the test to know, then of course you are on the way to join your ancestors. So I think that these are some of the issues that we need as we need to interrogate. So Western Sudan, the Western Sudanese states were very lucky, and they were blessed with large deposits of minerals, and such minerals were gold, iron, copper, and salt, and others. Now, these mineral resources facilitated trade between the people of Western Sudan and North Africa. Even people from the Mediterranean world and people from and people from even as far as Western Europe, all of them came to take part in this. Salt was mined in the Sahara. So in the Sahara, salt was available. Areas such as Belma, Ejel, Taodeni, and Tangaza were important centers of salt. Take note, in the objective, I can say that all the following were centers of salt, except then I'll maybe bring another source, which is maybe gold. I'll say Biri or Bambuk, or say Wangara in it, and you know. Takeda was also noted for its rich copper production. Takeda was well known for its rich copper production. Iron helped the people to manufacture metal weapons, which the rulers used in their wars of expansion. To the war that they embarked on to expand their territories, iron played a crucial role, and which we need to take note. Okay. Now, the leaders of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai came to dominate the region because they controlled access to the West African gold, and they served as middlemen in the gold trade, and that made them so rich. Okay, an increase in the demand for West African gold corresponded with the rise of these empires. So the spread of Islam and the rise of new states along the North African coast and Europe gave the biggest boost to the demand for gold. And so monarchs in Europe and North Africa wanted West African gold to mint coins. So West African gold were gold was needed to mint coins. That we need to point out. Now, I think that having seen the general factors for the rise of the Western Sudanic states in objective in essay, because this one you will do in the end of semester, you will do 20 section A and section B. The section A will be objectives, that is multiple choice, question 1 to question 20, and section B will be essays, that is 4 essays which you answer 2. And so I can ask you that and discuss 4 general factors for the rise of the Western Sudanic empires or states and kingdoms. I can just ask you 4 general factors We'll be citing example from here and there too. So we'll take note of some of these issues. Now, I think we'll look at Ghana. Look at Ghana, Ghana Empire. We should look at Ghana Empire. And then I think, yeah, if we want to look at Mali, fine. If after Ghana Empire, we will end the class, fine. But so let's look at the ancient Ghana, the Ghana Empire. And Ghana Empire is very important to us. Why? So why is the ancient Ghana Empire very important to those of us in modern Ghana? Why? You show by hand and I give you the chance to talk. Safo Afriye Johnson, do you want to try?
Doc, because
Yes,
it will
Jones.
let us know our roots or what we went through before coming this far.
Which far? What did you go through before coming this far? I don't know. Unless you tell me.
The struggle for independence and stuff.
They were talking about Asian Ghana and modern Ghana. Is there anything? So we are talking about, because you see that Ghana Empire, we are not talking about modern Ghana, the Ghana that you are in. We are talking about an empire that that's goes. That's okay. We are not going to go into it.
Doc. So it will help us know how the people during that time lived.
How they lived. What would that be relevant to us? If we know how they lived, will it be important to us? Do you think it is only how they lived?
No, please.
Especially look at modern Ghana, because we now we see that we were fascinated by maybe some certain things they did. Hence, we even chosen Ghana when we were looking for a name that would befit our status as independence, because we did not want to go with a name given to us by the colonizers. In this case, the Gold Coast, given to us by the Portuguese, who were Europeans. We didn't want to maintain that name. So when we were about to have independence, there was the question of the name, and various theses were put forward as to how the country should be called. People saying that the country should be called Akan land, because the Akan, they were the dominant, or they are the dominant ethnic group, and so the country should be named Akan land, or the Akan, or Akani. People will say Akani. Others will say no, let's call them Gan land, Gan. And there were a lot of names, but JB Danka also proposed that the country should be named Ghana, after Asian Ghana. And the nationalists bought into this conversation, hence name Ghana. But he came out with reasons why he suggested that the country should be named Ghana. Okay. So that I'm asking, there's a connection. There's a connection. There's certain thing that they did was, of course, made it possible for us to because I think that when you're going to name your child, you will not just name it after anybody. If the person is a drunkard, or is someone who is, you will not name. So you certainly consider certain factors before naming your child, and that is very important. Okay, of course. So if you had gone, you have chosen the name Ghana, then that meant that this civilization would interest us or would be very important. Okay, so Jones, I think now you can now make your submission properly.
Doc, please let others also come in. Thank you.
Okay, so who are those ready to venture? Can we see a hand up? Okay, Dukua. So your name,
So we can.
Mention your name.
It can help us to trace. Lisbeth.
We can. Who is talking? Is this Lizzie, Naki, go on.
Yeah, it will help us to trace some of the attainments that Ghana has gained. Our predecessors have gained in the Gold Coast.
Like what? I don't get it.
To the present day Ghana.
No,
I'm saying that some of the I'm saying that it will help us attain some of the yes, sir.
Some of what?
Hello?
Go ahead. We are listening.
Some of the attainment, what they attain during the Gold Coast time.
We are talking about Asian Ghana and modern Ghana.
The Asian
okay,
time.
let's go to Asha.
So some of the
and let's I just help you. Let's move on to Aisha. Asha, can we hear you? Asha, if Asha is not ready to talk, how can I to go on? Asha to go on, or if Asha cannot hear us, Bawa.
Amadu too is has also raised up the hand. Amadu.
Amadu, Bawa, can you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I think as Ghanaians, it is prudent that we lend the name, Ghana, the ancient Ghana, for the Ghana Empire that we took the name from. Knowing more about it would help us. How did they build? How did they rise? What are the things that they did that enabled the then Ghana Empire to expand? And possibly learn the lessons that made it to fall, so that we may not do things that would make this present Ghana equally fall. I think these are some of the reasons why it is good that we study Ghana Empire.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Anaya Dukwa or Dukwa. How do you pronounce that name?
Dukwa.
Dukwa, go on.
Sir, what I had wanted to say, he has already said most of it, but with the little you've said, with what the little I've learned from what you said, that is the old Ghana Empire being the first to rise out of the Western Sudan, and the glory that it came with, the things they were able to achieve. So naming our country Ghana after them, because we were also the first to also even attain independence in the in Africa, west of Africa. So linking that to the old
Sub-Saharan Africa,
Sub-Saharan Africa, linking that to the old Ghana Empire, and just as the man said, the things they did right, their shortcomings that led to the fall, and other things that will shape our thinking, reasoning, and behavior as a country, so as to not repeat the mistakes and rather and do the things that they did right to help us achieve more.
Okay, thank you very much. Jonathan, have you seen your hand? Jonathan, can you go on? Baba.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Please, I think one of the reasons why it is necessary for the study of the Ghana Empire as a whole is that it will help us to understand the political organization. So studying its government help us to understand how the early African society were organized and how they manage their things as a whole. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's good. Jones, do you want to also say something? Jones, up here.
Oh, okay. I want to add my voice on a few things. In fact, Doc, we live in a country, Ghana, and I think that a country that we live in, you must know the story, how it started, that we are saying the ancient, and in today modern Ghana, so that we can compare, as my brothers and sisters have already said, so that we know where we came from and where we are going. We can compare this. We must deeply understand the story as a Ghanaian, so that at least we will know how, I mean, we can live our life. And then the other neighboring countries or states also, we will learn to know their contribution or also maybe their help or other things that they did to us that we think at least we can shape that one too. So it is very good that we learn the history of Ghana. Me, I was going to ask a question, but I think when we move on, I'll ask the name Ghana, the particular Ghana. Me, I heard that they blend some letters together to go Ghana. Others were also saying that no, there were some states that combined. So it is good that we learn to know our roots. Thank you.
Okay. I think thank you very much. I think I've given everybody the opportunity. I don't know whether it is Ashika alone. Ashika, do you still want to talk?
Yes, sir. Small.
Okay, go on, Ashika.
The little I want to add to all what my colleagues have said is that, for instance, right now in Ghana, we are having leadership challenges. And it would be very important if we study how the Ghana Empire succeeded in rising. For instance, when we were going through, we saw that it's a system of governance. They had leaders, ministers, and all those ministers were keen to their work and they were doing their things on point. So if we learn about it and we go back to our roots and bring in all those things, I think the succession and then leadership crisis that is scrambling the country will be resolved.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Donald, you are the last person, then we move on. Sylvester.
So I think learning this will help us to know about the good things that the leaders of ancient Ghana did, and then also learn a lesson from their flaws, what brought about the breakdown of the empire. I think it's very important, sir.
Okay, excellent. I think you have made excellent, all of you have made excellent contributions. Now let's look at Asian Ghana. I think, after Asian Ghana, we would end the class. Okay, so, so Ghana Empire. The first powerful empire to emerge in Western Sudan was Ghana, and that is from 800 to 1070s CE or AD. Now, its people spoke the Soninke language. So the people spoke the Soninke language and lived in the area between the Niger and the Senegal rivers. Now, so parts of present-day Mauritania and Mali. Parts of present-day Mauritania and Mali. Now, the Soninke kingdom that became Ghana was named Orca or Orca. And this was a Berber name. In other words, an indigenous. So a Berber name. Its Berber name was Orca. Look at the spelling. So Orca or Orca. That is its Berber name. Now let's look at the map here. No, let's go back and see the map of Ghana. We see where Ghana is. So you can see this is Ghana. That is it. Then you can see Kumbisali. Kumbisali, yes, was the capital of ancient Ghana. And you can see Odagost, you can see Walata, and there will be many vassal states. So we have Teku, Sosu, and all that. You can see where Gao will be and Songhai. Later we'll talk about Songhai, later we'll talk about Mali, and after Mali we'll come to Songhai, following chronology. So you will see this is the place that we are going to talk about, Asian Ghana, the land of gold. So that is Asian Ghana, and that's very important. Okay, now let's see this picture well. I want you to talk about the picture. Everyone should open the eyes well, and let's look at and I just think that you look at the picture and you tell me all that you can see in the picture. You show by hand and you tell me. Yes, Jonathan. Baba.
Yeah, please, I could see people on horses
You could
and
see what?
people on horses.
Okay, you could see people on horses doing what?
They are riding them.
Riding. Okay, people on horses riding. Okay, I could see what do you also see? Ampim.
Please say the picture is
Hello.
gone.
Hello.
He said,
Doc, I also
Hello.
saw
Hello, Doc.
a chief sitting down with some girls standing beside the king.
Okay,
so
doctor.
yes,
I'm Akosia.
Akosia, go ahead.
Looking at, it's like we have a group of people having a feast somewhere. That is when you look at after the king. Somebody describes the king, and down from that side, you see that there are people, a group of people having a feast or something else over there. Thank you.
So let's look at the king in particular. Akosia, look at the king. Akosia, I want to be. Yeah, look at the king and look at, so you can see his head. I want you to tell me all the things that you can see as far as the king,
Okay.
the way the king is seated and everything, the stool, everything that you can see about the king alone. You, Akosia, that is your task. Tell me.
Hey, okay, doctor. Looking at the king, he has something covering the head, a crown, something like that.
And it's made of what? It's made of what?
Gold,
Look at it well.
gold,
Open your eyes.
gold or mineral. Gold.
It's made up of gold. Yeah, it's made up of gold. And then he has something in the hand. But I can't see that one very well. He has
That's
something
a
in the
sword,
hand.
sword.
And then and then he's sitting on a stool. And that is a king's a king's seat. So, doctor, I think that is what I can say. And then from the back, there is a lot of description, but this is what I can say.
Okay, Jones,
Then the
Jones,
emperor.
those who are standing there, you see that next to the king, you have people. What can you say about those people? Yeah, so
The people are strong. Yeah.
what do you think they are doing? And what do you think they are holding?
They are guards. Sir, please, they are guards. And they have been robed with a golden scalp, I think. And they are
so all the things they are gold though, you can't see.
They are holding.
So these ones you cannot see that they are all
gold.
You cannot see. You are not describing the things well.
Hello, sir.
Let's go to Charles, Mr. Charles. I think you will say it well. So, Mr. Charles, can we have
Hello,
you?
sir.
Yes.
You said, Doc, thank you very much for the opportunity. I can see the people dressed in the traditional regalia.
Okay.
Especially the guards.
Okay.
The guards are dressed holding spears and their wings. They wearing white cloth at the down. It looks like white cloth, locally made. And also there is a rope across their chest, like and then they wear. It looks like a boot, but I'm very sure it's a locally made product. And when you come to the king, the king is majestically dressed in a stool with a crown of gold. With others, other gold materials found on the hand and on the leg. That's like the way Asante has been is dressed
Sir,
more.
please, the background of where the king is sitting to. I think they are.
Yeah, so go on, I'm enjoying
to finish talking.
Can I continue?
Mr. Adela, you are making wonderful submission. Go on.
Thank you. And down there in the palace, down there you can see the members from the community. Perhaps they are celebrating. They are also dressed locally, and you can see some kind of interaction going on there happily. Looking at the setting, you realize that the environment is rich. You can see the kind of environment that is with that belongs to a wealthy people. It doesn't look poor.
Okay. Okay.
When you look at
Okay,
the
that's
next
good.
picture down there,
That's good.
when you look at the next picture down there, I can see the community. The houses are burnt, and then there are specific one that is well designed. Okay. So, in fact, these are the things I can see. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Good, excellent. Do you have another person? Yes. Do you have another person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sylvester and Co have raised up their hand.
Sylvester. Mr. Sylvester. Is
Please,
Mr.
sir.
Sylvester still with us? Yeah, please, can they go on? Hello, Mr. Sylvester, we are giving you the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I can see after the kingship there, below is this thing, community celebrating.
Okay.
And I can see food served and then
So now
drinks and other things.
describe the food.
Jar
Of
drinks.
The food that you see that food there. If you look at it, you what can you say? Look at the food. Do you see the food well? Now I'm talking about this food.
Yes.
The one, this one, the food. Do you see it well? What can you say?
It's like it's fufu or something with meat on top.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's fufu?
Please, it looks like a top mashed yam with garnish with eggs and yes, it looks like mashed yam, what we call a top, garnished with egg and probably meat.
Okay. So you think that it will be so delicious, eh? Or how? Look at the mood of the people, and so based on that, what do you say about the food?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah, go on.
Maybe they are celebrating.
Oh, we can't hear you. You can't.
Maybe they are celebrating a festival or an achievement.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Doc. Yes, the food will be delicious.
It will be delicious, eh?
Yes.
So look at the
Yes.
time that we are talking about. Look at the time. Yes, hello.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah, hello.
When you look at it very carefully, even though they are having a feast, you can also look at their dressing in there. You see that a man is having a cloth like how the Akans, especially the Ashantis, the way they wear their clothes. You can see that one too from that side. And I think the food there is that is mashed plantain garnished with oil and then eggs. That is how I see it. And then with a granite paste. Okay. That is how I see it. Thank you.
Okay. That is good. Well, I think you have all made wonderful submissions. Yes, can we hear you?
Yes, I can also see glasses and pots of drinks served on the table.
Okay. So which part? Oh yeah. I've seen it. Okay. So what do you think that would signify? Or that so it's what? Drinks or what?
Yes,
palm
drinks.
wine, sir.
Probably palm wine.
Palm wine.
And a pet.
Okay.
Someone is making noise at the background. Doc, I can also see that the means of transport was the use of the horse. You can see some walking and some also sitting on the horse or donkey, if I may say. Then we can see a water body which looks very clean.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think we have said a lot. Let's continue. Thank you very much.
Please, with the settlement
I think it's
area,
a camel.
with the settlement area, you could see that some of the buildings are medium height, and then you have one big compound with a tower. Probably, maybe that would be the palace or something, overlooking the entire community.
Okay. Okay. But this one, the first one, because this ones are the ruins. This one that I think been already destroyed. So the ruins. But I think the other part that you will see, there are buildings. The far end, you can see some structures there, tall ones. But these ones are ruins. This one they have already been destroyed. But even you will see, have an idea about how magnificent their buildings were. And so if you look at it, you have an idea about it, how strong they were. And they were built, so you see the stones, built with stones, and that is very important. Okay, good. I think we've said a lot and we have had excellent description of the picture. We can now move to another one and see. Okay, so let's look at the city of Kumbi, Sally. The city of Kumbi, Sally. This is the ruins when it destroyed for a long time. So the city. So we want you to look at it. At the time that it had even destroyed, it had been invaded, destroyed, and the ruins. So what can you say about the capital city? And before you even come, before you talk about the ruins of Kumbi, let me say that this city was a twin city. It was a twin city. Now it had the royal part. So it was made up of two sections. So the royal part was known as so the royal part, and then the commercial center. The commercial center. So the royal part, Agaba, was where the king resided. That's the royal part, where the king resided, and the king lived in stone houses built with stone. And the commercial center was, the other part was the commercial center, and about 6 miles apart. So that will give you an idea about how vast the capital city, which was a train city, and the commercial part. That's where we had the merchants, the big merchants who participated in the caravan or the Saharan trade, the trans-Saharan trade or the caravan trade. That's where they resided, the rich ones. But then the royal section or the Agaba, that's where the king resided. There was a mosque that was built where for the use of the Muslims, of course, who were in the court of the Ghana. The Ghana, which will be the title of the kings, and at the same time will be the title of the empire itself, to be used to denote, as we shall soon see when we go there. So that is brief, in short, brief about Kumbi, the capital city of Ghana. So now let's now look at it critically. What do we see even in the ruins of Kumbi? If you can have 2 or 3 people to talk, tell us what they see and describe the nature of the ruins, then we can move ahead. Yeah, so who is starting for us? Can I see a hand? And this one, will Akosia come in? Akosia. Yes, Akosia, I think I want
Hello,
to take
doctor.
on the ruins.
Well, from what I'm seeing here, you can see, even though these houses are uh, past houses, they are old. That is what I would say, and you can see that people, from what I'm seeing, where the tower is, I would say that the people there were very rich due to the way they have crafted the building, and no words to describe. But that is how the people there will be very, very rich.
Okay.
Looking at
Della,
how
Della, can we hear you? Good. Thank you very much. Della, can I also hear you?
Yes, please. Thank you very much for the opportunity. From the look of things, I can see the royal side. I can see that the royal side is fenced, whilst the commercial side is left open.
Okay.
Also, it looks as if the materials used for building are not modern. It's like old way of building, where perhaps they might have used mud mixed with something else to raise these structures.
Okay.
These are some of the things that I can identify. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone who?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
Sarah. I wanted to see that it's like the ones I'm seeing, the one beside the tall building, there are no doors. There are no doors.
There are no doors. Are you sure? Are you sure there are no doors, Mr. Jones? Or you can't see well.
That is
This one there, you can't see well. This one there, I will not buy into your conversation. You can see that there
okay.
are some doors there, or you
Okay.
cannot see the doors.
I've seen.
Or
They are,
you
they are
give
designed.
Hello, dog. Hello, dog.
we give you lens.
Dog.
Yes, please go on.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, go on, please.
It's not like
Kindly go on.
they have they have designed them in the way that they look like entrance to the royal house, but they are not
Okay.
specifically doors that you can open. So they are
So
designs
that is
that
the
are
entrance. So
created.
when you enter, look at it. You look at it well. You see that doors are there. After entering there, so this is the entrance. So you enter, then you see doors to the building itself. Can't you see it? Look at
Okay.
this one.
Yes,
Okay.
so I was talking
They
of
are
the entrance. I was talking of the entrance. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I think we can now move on.
all
The
right.
building is also like a story building.
Their roofing system was flat.
Who is talking?
In fact, they have good engineers. So if you look at the architectural work, you will see that indeed we were having great people in those days.
So this one that we are talking about after destruction, these are the ruins, not the rare houses itself. After destruction, so the ruins of it. That is what we see now. Yeah. So,
Okay, Doc. Hello.
Yes.
Please, my question is, what caused the ruins or destruction of the capital city?
Okay, so we shall get there. You see that the Hammurabi's will invade. So we'll get there. I think we'll look at the fall of Ghana, and then we'll talk about how Kumbisali fell. So when we get there, after the discussion, if you still have questions, then I will now answer you. But if you are clear with the things that we shall discuss, then maybe you'll be okay for that. Okay. Now, yeah, so let's move on. Yeah, so now, as I said, I told you the Berber name for the Ghana, which is Orca or Orca. Its Sudanese name was Wangara. Take note, its Sudanese name was Wangara. And Wangara will be an important source of gold itself. So its Sudanese name was Wangara. However, the name by which the word came to refer to was not by its Berber name Orca, but by the title of its kings. So Ghana was the title of the kings. Like, yeah. So like we have Asante Hene. So Asante Hene is a title. So the title of its kings, which means war chief. So that is it. So the empire came to be referred to the title of its kings, Ghana, and it meant war chief, war chief, war chief. In Soninke, Orca was situated on the grassland north of Senegal and the Niger rivers. Its people, the Soninke, are said to have risen to power by virtue of their war chief, Kaya Magan or Maga. Kayamagan or Maga was a very prominent ruler, and so it will later, you see that later the name would reflect and also be a title which will reflect them as kings of gold, Magan and Kayamagan. Okay, so now that is what I'm trying to say here. Now, in line with the Hermetic tradition, so you have heard a lot about the Hermetic hypothesis. Last time I was asking you something about Ham, and I think we had one Reverend Father who walked us through Ham, the sons of Noah. And the sons of Noah, Ham was the one who saw, and he saw that, I think the story we're told, I don't want to say it, there's no time. So Ham, and as I concluded that the Eurocentric writers were of the view that Ham was cursed by Noah, was cursed that he would suffer and he would serve others. And so they were of the view that Africans, we are the descendants of Ham. That's why we are suffering. And and during the time of Renaissance, that's where there was the revival of knowledge, and people wanted to know more, people wanted to explore more. At first, people even thought that Africa was different. Where we were living was so hot. I will not go to the scientific issues. Later, we'll talk about them, and our time will be too long. Now, in line with the Hermetic traditions, the land which later became occupied by the Soninke was said to have been conquered by a white race. So they thought that a white race maybe white people might have lived with the Soninke people, and they might have been responsible for some of the things that they were able to do. Now, this race we also refer to as Arab, Berber, or Jewish overran the Soninke land and brought with it the use of iron from about 300 AD. Kayamagan, a Soninke warrior, rebelled at the head of a black army in about 700 AD. Yes, that is in the 8th century. Now he defeated the white rulers and drove them out of Soninke lands. With much tact and diplomacy, he was able to unite all the other Soninke people. He was able to unite them. Now, his successors continued his good works and established the first formidable empire in the Western Sudan, known as the Ghana Empire. Much of the history of the ancient Ghana is derived from the Arabic sources. So we have much of the information from the Arabic sources. Last time I walked you through some of these sources, and I think I mentioned Al-Umari, Al-Bakri, Ibn Battuta, Leo Africanos, and etc. etc. And some of them even visited these places themselves. They traveled a lot and they interrogated the kings, of course. I think I'm not going to talk much about. But be that as it may, we have much of our information from the Arabic sources, and especially these Arabs who chronicled the things that they came across. Okay, most of these sources are also attributed to the Spanish Muslims. So the Spanish Muslims. Such scholars included Abu al-Bakri from Cordoba in Spanish Andalusia. Now he wrote a book, Kitab al-Masarikuwa Mamlek, and that book is translated as the Book of Roots and Realms. So he wrote this book. Now, this book provides useful information on Ghana's economy, their system of government, taxation, magnificent of its courts, its trade, and relationship with North Africa. So we have an insight into the Asian Ghana from these Arabic sources and specifically Arab writers. And so even in Ghana, I just mentioned Al-Bakri and his account. Al-Bakri was a very good writer. He wrote what he saw and the account. So through him, we have a lot of information about Ghana, their economy. So their system of government, and then their taxation, magnificent of its courts, its trade, and relationship with the people of North Africa. Now, the kingdom, according to Al-Bakri, was so prosperous, so rich. They were so rich Now, the Ghana Empire was at the height of its power by the middle of the 11th century. So by the middle of the 11th century, that's where they reached the peak of its political glory and controlled the region covering most of the modern states of Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali. Its capital, Kumbiseri, was established by Kayama Gan and was made up of two towns lying in plains, a Muslim section and a pagan section. And so the royal city called Agaba was 6 miles away from the Muslim section. And that was the commercial center. Okay. And that was it. Now, and the area between the two towns was covered with a habitation that will give even 1 mile. Look at 6 miles apart. So to the it's a twin city. And so you should look at Agaba and the commercial center, which was a Muslim section indeed. Anyway. Now, okay, so let's look at, so their houses were constructed of stones and acacia wood. So they used stones and acacia wood in the construction of their houses. In the king's town, not far from the royal court, was a mosque for the use by Muslims who visited the king on a particular mission. So they had the mosque. Now let's look at their system of government. The rulers of Ghana evolved a dual system of government. So they had that kind of, yeah. So the central, so that is that's where they had the central government, and then they had the provinces, the provincial government. So so where the provinces will be in the hands of the local rulers. That is, I'm going to talk about the provincial areas. I'm talking about the conquered areas, those who the area that were conquered or subjugated and made parts of Ghana. Now, so a Soninke governor, that is the central government, head of Soninke areas, normally a close relative or companion of the Ghana. So that was there. And then we also had the local rulers, and they were in charge of the non-Soninke areas, and they were the natural rulers of their own people and were confirmed in their office by the Ghana, provided that they were loyal, and they performed their duties. Now, the provincial governors, as I was saying, and heads of the tributary states were required to provide men for the Ghana's army in times of war. This was one of their major responsibilities, provision of contingent in Ghana's army. You know that these powers or these states will not use their citizens for in terms of war. They will use that of their vassal states or their tributary states or separate states. That is what I mean. So the two most important government officials in Eastern Ghana were the prime minister, and the interpreter. The interpreter was referred to as Waziri, and was so important because he was always closer to the Ghana. And so he did the interpretation and all that, and it's so important. And the prime minister or the vizier was also very, very important here. Now, the kings used their wealth to build strong armies with archers and cavalry. They also collected tribute and carried out the empire's expansion. Now, let's look at how agriculture also contributed to the rise of Ghana Empire trade. Trade. No, let's look at agriculture first before come to trade. Let's look at agriculture first. Okay, so now agriculture. Hmm. Okay, so now let's look at agriculture. So agricultural productivity in the region supported labor specialization, urban areas, and state formation. So that will give an idea about how yes, how complex the area was. Now the farmers used iron tools to grow an abundance of crops from 300 BCE onwards. Archaeological evidence found at Geni, now dated to approximately 250 BCE, suggests that people had access to plenty of rice, millets, and vegetables. Iron technologies also allowed craftsmen to make iron spears and swords to protect themselves. So they use that one in their wars of expansion. Trade also contributed well to significantly. Now, Soninke speakers had been involved in an extensive system of trade using the region's complex river systems. So river transportation and all this. Now the people served as middlemen. They acted as middlemen, and that made them so rich. Trading in fish from the rivers, meat from herders, and grain from farmers. They collected tributary payments from neighboring chiefdoms. They used their ability to tax trade, to tax traders who will come there, those who will come to trade to build an empire. By 800 CE, they had consolidated their control over the trade, their authority over urban areas, and their reign over the tributary, the vassal states or the tributary states. Now the kings taxed trade goods twice. They taxed goods, they taxed gold when it was initially brought from the forested regions in the south to their markets. To their markets. Now, in spite of all this glory, splendor that ancient Ghana achieved, in fact, I did not walk you through their culture, the material system, and all that. No, time will be too long. So I think these are some of the things that I was asking you. You said a lot, so I did not take you through all that. Now, in spite of all this glory, like as you are aware, and yeah, so one, yeah, that's the previous civilizations or previous or the earliest civilization before Ghana, such as Egypt, Mesopotamia, Indus Valley, and all the others fell. They rose and fell. Ancient Ghana also disintegrated or fell. Let's look at the reasons for the fall of Ghana. Two important reasons can be advanced to explain the fall of Ghana. The first was competition from the Sanhaja Berbers for the control of gold trade. In fact, let me say right from the beginning that the Sanhaja Berbers were troublesome Berbers, and they were the most dominant Berber group in North Africa. If I want to look at when those of you who did North African history, I taught you that there were three major divisions, even though there were several minor divisions, but three major divisions of the Berbers, and they included the Sanhaja Berbers, the Masmuda Berbers, and the Zanata Berbers. Of all these, the Sanhaja Berbers were the most dominant and they were the most troublesome Berbers, and it wasn't easy for the neighboring states to deal with them at all. So the competition from the Sanhaja Berbers for the control of the gold trade will be one of the major factors that led to the collapse of ancient Ghana. Now, the second and the most important reason was the pressure of attacks by powerful enemies, notably the Almoravids. I have to talk about the Almoravids. And the Almoravids, the same Berbers, the same Sahara Berbers will form this movement, Almoravids. You see, they will form this movement, Almoravids, and they will launch jihad. So that is it. They will launch jihad on Ghana. On Ghana. You see? So they wanted to use force to convert because they saw the people to be pagans. Now they were African traditionalists, believers. So they wanted to use jihad, in other words, to let them convert to Islam. And so you will see that they would wage war on them, these Almoravids. And so that will be one of them. So in 1076, when they invaded Kumbisali, they invaded Kumbisali, and that would bring about the collapse So, and again, the Muslim states of Tekru, Susu, and Mandingo. Susu, for example, was under the rule of Sumangulu County. And Sumangulu County was outstanding magician. He used witchcraft. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Maybe when we get to the war between the Kangaba and the Susu, Kangabaland and Susu of Sumangulu. That is, look at Susu when Susu came under Sumangulu, and then when he invaded the Kangaba, that grew to become Mali. We see, and later soon the artists clash with the Sumangulu of Susu, Sumangulu County of Susu. You then understand what I'm talking about. I think when you get there, I'll dwell on the legend to tell you what the Battle of Kirina, and what happened during that battle. Okay, so I think now we are tired. So let me wrap up with my letter and end. Pressure from these people first broke the military power of Ghana and ruined its economy. Now there were other factors such as dynastic disputes, where some of the rulers, it got to a time that Ghana was unfortunate to have kings who were not strong, they were weak. So that brought in dynastic wrangling. In fact, instability in the royal family fighting for position power. And so the vassal states will take advantage to rebel for their autonomy or freedom, and so forth. So these were some of the factors. But then you then realize that the armed robbers' attack on Ghana was so significant. Because when they attacked Asian Ghana, they were Africans. And they gave them the option Islam or death. They gave them two options. Either you would accept Islam or you will be killed. So Islam or death. So many of them fled southwards. And people have the view that those in Asian Ghana who fled or who run away because of the activities of the armed robbers were their camp people. Because if you look at them now, their culture similarities is that they had the matrilineal system of inheritance, like someone was saying when I asked you, the matrilineal system of inheritance. They practiced the matrilineal, where inheritance passed on from uncle to nephew or from mother to daughter, and so forth. So you can understand it. And then they were the way, that's why I was asking you to look at the way the king was sitting, and how the king was decorated, and so forth, so that you can understand some of these issues.
Oh, someone came at the back. Who is that?
You really appreciate some of these issues. So that's what JB Dankwa was of the view, or is of the view, that now at first, this people of Asian Ghana were in the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates River. And the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates River, the valley that between there were two rivers, River Tigris and River Euphrates. And the valley there, that place was known as Mesopotamia. That was the place that we refer to as Mesopotamia. So that's where they were, and later moved from Mesopotamia to Asian Ghana. And following the Almoravid invasion of Asian Ghana, that caused the empire. That made it possible for many people to run away for their lives. So
Sorry.
So they fled to where they are now as a ton of modern day Ghana, and there are certain resemblances. So I think that now I will end my classes. Maybe before we start Mali, I may throw more light on the factor that led that led to the fall of Ghana. Any one or two questions before I end my lecture, please? Yeah, Razak, is your hand up? Okay, I think that we'll end here. If you have any submission, next time we meet, you can ask, you can bring it up. We'll address it before we move on. Having said that, I wish you all the best and enjoy the rest of the day. Yeah. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you very much.
For us.
Thank you,
Thank you. That's life. Thank you.
How do we get the slices?
Bye bye.
Yes, sir, that's life.
Bye.
He says that he only gives lies after
Slice
teaching.
after teaching.
I only hear them.